Replacing it means learning how to tolerate a little more uncertainty while something steadier is built. That slower rebuilding process is usually where real freedom begins, even if it looks far less dramatic than the old cycle ever did. The work is slower than the old loop, but it usually feels truer once the nervous system begins catching up. Usually, that is when the pattern softens. With enough patience, that wider awareness starts changing not only behavior, but the emotional meaning attached to it. In the end, the real story is not that people suddenly became weak. It is that modern life keeps training them towards shame avoidance because the pattern fits larger social and economic incentives. Seeing that clearly does not solve everything, but it changes the tone of the struggle. The person no longer has to treat the problem as a private defect. They can understand it as a learned relationship to the world, and learned relationships can be interrupted, redesigned, and made more humane. The wider lesson is that people suffer unnecessarily when they interpret all of this through shame alone. Shame narrows the picture to individual weakness. A broader view sees culture, design, comparison, and emotion interacting over time. That broader view does not erase responsibility, but it makes responsibility more useful because it points toward what can actually be redesigned instead of merely condemned. The more honestly people can see that interaction between culture and psychology, the less trapped they tend to remain inside purely self-blaming explanations. That is where proportion returns, and with proportion, a more livable sense of self often returns as well. That recognition is often the real turning point. That kind of recognition is rarely flashy, but it is often what makes a more stable future possible. If you are anything like me, you love a good night out, great music, good people, and maybe a couple of drinks, but the next morning does not always bring the same energy. That is why I want to tell you about Liqueur gummies. They are designed to help prevent next-day hangovers